Hello there, how you doing? I'm Robert Morgan Fisher. I'm opening up this fantastic show. It's an honor to be here. This is it's for all you native Californians here. Well, you say that you're from New York City, and you're right at home in an angry mob with the sound of breaking glass. Well, you know that I'm from California, and I say California can kick your ass. Well, you say you live on the Mississippi, and every spring the rains come and the river rises fast. Well, you know that I'm from California, and I say California can kick your ass. I don't mean any disrespect, but you can bet that I am quite sincere when I say that the state of California has been kicking my ass for years. Well, maybe you live east of Java, where the ground shakes and the earthquakes and all that jazz. Well, you know that I'm from California, and I say California can kick your ass. I don't mean any disrespect, and you can bet that I am quite sincere when I say that the state of California has been kicking my ass for years. Well, maybe you're from the depths of hell, where the furnace of damnation blows a hot and fiery blast. Well, you know that I'm from California, and I say California can kick your ass. Yes, I know California can kick your ass. Everybody! Yes, I know California can. Yeah! Thank you. All right. So, I knew something was wrong there. I've got 3 albums, and that was from the first album. This is from the second album. They're for sale over there on the merch bar. And this is a song I wrote with Daryl Purpose. So you wanna write a story? Let me show you how it's done. First you get yourself a good guy, and then you fit him with a gun. Then you find yourself a bad guy, the dark and evil kind. So when they get slaughtered, nobody minds. And when the fight is over and everything seems well, and everyone assumes their place in heaven or in hell, just don't forget we become the stories that we tell. So you want to write a story? Let me show you how it's done. First you build yourself a temple that can almost touch the sun. Then you write yourself some rules about how folks should behave, how the others won't be saved. And when the crusade's over and the tolling of the bell covers up the cries of the fallen infidels, just don't forget we become the stories that we tell. Yeah, we become the stories as the things we think and do and reveal, enfold us. And the story still reveals itself and tells our children's children what it told us. Sold us, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you wanna write a story? Let me show you how it's done. First you get yourself a country and you call it number one. Then you find yourself a country you can treat like number two, because they don't do things like we do. And when the final native son has been killed or expelled, when you control diamond mines in every oily well, just don't forget we become the stories that we tell. Now don't forget we become the stories that we tell. Now don't forget we become the stories that we tell. Ha! Thank you. All right. Let me hydrate here. So, for the past several years, I still perform music, but I use it as a platform for my fiction. I'm a fiction writer. I published a lot. I've won a lot of awards. I won the Chester B. Himes Fiction Prize last year, and I'm one of 3 finalists for the John Steinbeck Award. And thank you. You can actually read a lot of my stories and find out all that stuff on my website, robertmorganfisher.com. But one of the things that I do is I write companion songs to my short stories. That's part of my brand. And this is a short story I wrote called Father Was a Warrior that was published on Blue Railroad. My father was a warrior. His followers were legion, and all of them expendable. His weapons, they were fearsome and always indispensable. Racing like a stallion through the pain. When your father's a warrior, every dream is a campaign. My father was a warrior. Each choice was a strategy. Each step was a battle. Every problem was the enemy to be slaughtered and then straddled. Staring straight ahead with stony eyes. When your father's a warrior, you focus on the prize. If you want a piece of me, then bring it on. But you best be careful. You're messing with a warrior's son. My father was a warrior. Each challenge was an arsenal. Each family was a nation. Every shame a court-martial. Every hug a commendation.
shackled by an old chain of command. When your father's a warrior, you're marching to the band. Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you. This is so that song was from my second album, Built Myself a Greenhouse. And my father was a warrior. He still is a warrior, still with us. And that song's not a snivel, it's a tribute to him, really. This one right here is a companion song to a story I wrote called Don't You Want to Go to Mars? And it's from my latest album, my third album. And it was a duet with Janice Ian. And this song is actually on Mars right now. It went up in the Maven rocket. And I'm big on Mars. I'm going to be doing a summer tour. And Darrell has a dream, just like Martin Luther King. It's a dream he's passed on to his son. It's a dream to be an astronaut, but not just any astronaut. We're talking first man on the fourth rock from the sun. Calculator in the crib starts young Tari's trip. Learned his timetables by the age of 3. At 5 he knew his long division, calculus by the age of 7. Now he's 9 and doing trigonometry. Don't you want to go to Mars? Hey, don't you want to go to Mars? Now that we've come this far, don't you want to go to Mars? Aaliyah's in Iraq, don't know when she's coming back. Yeah, Mama's been gone 14 months or more. Sends pictures through the internet, landscape red and desolate, like an evil Eden or the god of war. Don't you want to go to Mars? Hey, don't you want to go to Mars? Now that we've come this far, don't you want to go to Mars? There's a slave ship in 1688 sailing across that stormy Middle Passage. There's a spaceship in 2028 like a silver bottle carrying a message. Darrell calls Tari Rain Man. It's a joke, but they're in pain, man. Lately Tari's apathetic, sad and bored. The last they heard, Aaliyah had been stop-lost to Haditha. If they could only follow that old drinking gourd. Don't you want to go to Mars? Hey, don't you want to go to Mars? Now that we've come this far, don't you want to go to Mars? Darrell has a dream, just like Martin Luther King. It's a dream he's passed on to his son. Thank you. On the album cut of that, I forgot to mention, Dean Parks plays this absolutely amazing orchestral pedal steel. And anyway, it's all my albums are very well produced. My producer is Chad Watson. couldn't be here tonight, but anyway. This is, right here, this is a song co-written by a really good friend of mine, named Bill Danoff. And one of the best moments of my life was when Facebook first got started. I got this message from Bill Danoff, and we weren't friends, you know, and he said, hey, Robert, this is Bill Danoff. And he says, I don't know if you run your own page, but I'm a big fan of yours, and just want to let you know that. And this is one of the songs he wrote, and I worked up a version of it. Took a long time to kind of get it where I wanted it, but it's the standard, and give it a chance. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me, radio reminds me of my home far away. And driving down the road I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads take me home. Them country roads take me home. Them country roads. You know, it's funny, they use that song at certain politicians' political rallies, and it really pisses Bill off, you know. I don't know if you guys know this story about that song, but John Denver went to China and handed off a cassette tape of that song to the premier, who fell in love with it and then issued an edict where it must be played on every single radio station in China. And to this day, it's almost like the Chinese national anthem. It's sort of really strange. All right, so here's I mentioned my father was a warrior. I lived everywhere 10 times, you know, when your dad's a Navy pilot. And just one of the places was right up the road here, up the freeway. And this next song is a companion song to a short story that appeared in the Dime Show Review a couple of years ago. And this is a true story. It happened about 50 years ago. Afternoon paper on my doorstep. Elysian fields of Camarillo across the street. This was back when Camarillo was a dumping ground for crazies. State Hospital, Charlie Parker's grim defeat.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones had just been busted. Tet New Year, Indochina, Living Hell. Summer of Love, shot in a Memphis hotel. Finished off at the Ambassador Hotel. And the ghost of Charlie Parker looking down blesses all the children of the town. God's beard is a cloud, I'll whisper to myself every Saturday night watching Adam 12. One Adam 12. Let's pretend our arms are threshers. This alfalfa, soft as a prisoner's prayer. Lay back in the paddock, green stalk clenched between our teeth. Kenny said he'd race me from here to there. All at once we came upon a clearing with a bunch of little potted plants all in a row. And other plants much larger growing straight up out of the ground. And he looked at me and said, "Hey, what do you know?" And the ghost of Charlie Parker looking down blesses all the children of the town. God's beard is a cloud, I whisper to myself every Saturday night watching Adam 12. One Adam 12. It was just about that time that a paper boy named Harold rode up upon his bike. Kenny and I were scared because Harold was a lot bigger than us, but as it turned out, he knew Kenny's older brother, Mike. He told us that this was some kind of special science project for the high school science fair. And he had to go up to Frisco this weekend, and would we mind watering the plants while he was up there? Well, we said, what kind of plants? They don't look to be much more to us than little weeds. Harold laughed and said, "You got it," and he paid us 50 cents. "But don't tell anybody," he said. "There's no need." And the ghost of Charlie Parker looking down blesses all the children of the town. God's beard is a cloud, I whispered to myself every Saturday night watching Adam 12. One Adam 12. Harold split and we took one of the little potted plants to a scoutmaster neighbor named Larry Hoops. Larry jumped on the phone and said, "I have what appears to be a plant that resembles marijuana." And we said, "Oops." Every cop in Camarillo converged upon our street. We were held up as fourth grade royalty. And the look on Harold's face as they let him off in cuffs was like he wished he'd paid us more for loyalty. Kenny took his quarter and he invested in an early death from booze and prescription pills. Sometimes late at night, I drive up the 101 to cruise old neighborhoods built on Elysian fields. I hardly ever read the paper anymore. None of the news seems to make a lick of sense. And anyway, I think we've all gone well past the point of ever making any meaningful amends. And the ghost of Charlie Parker looking down blesses all the children of the town. God's beard is a cloud, I whisper to myself every Saturday night watching Adam 12. What Adam 12? Yes, I was a grammar school narc, and I'm not proud of that. Anyway, so here's a song, another companion song. You can go on my website, robertmorganfisher.com, and several of these songs, including Don't You Want to Go to Mars and this one, you can actually read the short story and hear the produced version of the song. It's a special song for me. I want to dedicate this to Greg Feo.
Hey.
Yeah, Greg, this is for you. Okay? I was born in a pine cone on the tallest spruce tree. I was raised by a forest at the edge of the sea. Felled at 580, thought I'd live my lifespan. But that day at the sawmill was where my life began. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree. Quartered and sanded, shipped here and there, turned into cardboard, tables and chairs. But the best part of me, a luthier did buy. A delicate cross-grain simply captured his eye. Delicate cross-grain simply captured his eye. Measured and cut, fitted and matched, tuned to a turn when some strings were attached, placed in a case and then sent to some store where I hung on the walls for 6 months or more. Hung on the walls for 6 months or more. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree. Hocked and then bought by a rich man and left in the case while he schemed and he traveled all over the place till his 8-year-old daughter, left alone in the house, opened a closet and we became pals. Opened the closet and we became pals. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree. Hocked and then bought and then rehocked again, till a vagrant musician claimed he was my best friend. A busker by trade, played the subways and streets, heavy gauge strings and a big booming beat. Heavy gauge strings and a big booming beat. I became a real guitar in the hands of that man. Somehow we made it through a 30-year span, till the day his poor hands couldn't bang out the rent, and we both cried as back to the pawn shop I went. Both cried as back to the pawn shop I went. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree. But by this time my past, it had caught up with me. I was told that I now had a rare pedigree. A rock and roll prince quickly carried me off, but his hands were too weak and his fingertips soft. Hands were too weak and his fingertips soft. Proudly displayed with those he'd collected, but I didn't feel special. I just felt neglected, so I bowed up my neck till the prince couldn't play, and in no time at all he just gave me away. No time at all the prince gave me away. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree. Strings were all tarnished, my finish was cracked. I ended my days with an old lumberjack. The two of us found such a wonderful rhythm that when he passed on, they buried me with him. When he passed on, they buried me with him. Now I lie here at rest in a stand of spruce trees, 10 billion songs still beating in me. The lumberjack slumbers, I dream of decay, and wait for the tree roots to take me away. I lived a life in music, and it's funny to see how the guitar never falls very far from the tree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Made my day. Wow.
So, let's see here. Gotta make sure I'm not overstaying my. Well, I guess I only have time for one or two more here. So, let's do. Of course, I always put a surplus of songs in there. This is actually another companion song. This story's not published, but true story. It's from deep in the groin of the San Fernando Valley. My boys recognized her, said that girl gets around. Mama, that girl is the talk of the town. I shooed them away and invited her in. From the cut of her clothes, she was well versed in sin. Her body was buxom, her face it was worn. I could tell right away she'd been working the porn. Lord knows how she found me, this rough little flower. Teach 'em to sing and I charge by the hour. Many a young girl wants to carry that torch, but they first have to make it past my front porch. Some come through the website, some by word of mouth, but I'm awful particular about who enters my house. 'Cause I'm a good Christian woman, or I'm trying to be. Got two boys that I raised since my husband left me, and I don't think it's fair to judge someone's skin. In each one of us, there's an angel within. Angel within. Angel within. I don't think you should stay here, I started to say. She lowered her eyes, please don't send me away. I quit the skin trade, and I'm now 6 weeks clean. Through it, that life, I just want to sing. I thought I should act before kindness fails, so I pulled down the shade and started some scales. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Help those who help themselves. Her voice was unsteady. She didn't have that much range, but after several weeks, I noticed a change. She developed vibrato and a tone all her own, smoky contralto as tough as a stone. Taught her to coo, and I taught her to belt. Taught her to sing all the feelings she felt. 'Cause I'm a good Christian woman, or I'm trying to be. Got two boys that I raised since my husband left me, and I don't think it's fair to judge someone's skin. 'Cause in each one of us, there's an angel within. Angel within. Angel within. My boys are asleep, and it's my quiet time. I'm watching a show about the late Patsy Cline. Patsy did some hard living, embarrassing things before she got the chance to teach the world how to sing. It's like we peel back the layers and scrape off the dirt until sorrow takes wing like a beautiful bird. I ain't seen her in weeks. I guess the road took a fork. Some go to Las Vegas, others New York. Where did she go? I didn't know where to search. I regret that I never took her down to my church. She just might go far if she stays off the meth. I whisper a prayer with my last waking breath. I'm a good Christian woman, or I'm trying to be. Got two boys sound asleep, and I'm lost in a dream. And I expect soon enough I will see her again, when the world recognizes the angel within. Angel within. Angel within. Angel within. All labor there is profit. One more, and I'm going to bring out the headliner. All right. Power up. This is I'm a human jukebox. I know thousands of songs, and but I have a few favorite covers. I always wanted to cover this one. I worked up an arrangement of it, so I'm trying it out with you guys, okay? We're playing those mind games together, pushing the barriers, planting seeds, laying those mind gorillas, chanting the mantra, peace on earth. We all been playing those mind games together. Some kind of druid dude lifting the veil, doing the mind gorillas. Some call it magic, the search for the grail. Love is the answer, and you know that for sure. Love is the flower. You gotta let it grow. So keep on playing those mind games together. Faith in the future, out of the now. You just can't beat on those mind gorillas. Absolute elsewhere, the stones of your mind. Keep on playing those mind games together, projecting our images in space and in time. Love is the answer, and you know that for sure. Yes is surrender. You gotta let it go. So keep on playing those mind games together. We're in the ritual, dance in the sun. Millions of mind gorillas putting their soul power to the karmic wheel. Keep on playing those mind games forever. Raising the spirit of peace and love. I want you to make love, not war. I know you've heard it before. Keep on playing those mind games together, chanting the mantra, peace on earth. Thank you very much. I'm Robert Morgan Fisher. Band's gonna get set up here. I've got some merch over there. Many of the songs you heard are on my CDs, and you can check out my website as well. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dave on sound.